There comes a time in every life when the noise must quiet, the obligations must pause, and the eyes must turn inward. That time is now, not out of selfishness, but out of necessity, not to abandon others, but to reclaim the self that has been slowly forgotten under the weight of expectation, responsibility, and distraction. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. You cannot lead if you are lost. And you cannot love fully if you do not remember how to love yourself. You have poured your energy into many places, into causes, into relationships, into the duties of the day. You have shown strength even when you felt none. But somewhere along the road, you stopped listening to the quiet voice inside, the one that knows your dreams, that remembers your vision, that waits patiently for you to return. This is your call to return, to tend to the parts of you that have been neglected, to nurture your peace, protect your mind, and feed your purpose. The world will continue moving, but if you do not pause to strengthen your foundation, everything you build will rest on fragile ground. There is no shame in saying, "Today I choose me." It is not abandonment of duty, it is preparation for it. For when you are centered, you are more powerful. When you are whole, you give more freely. And when you are aligned, your presence becomes a light, not only for yourself, but for others. So give yourself permission to heal, to grow, to focus, because the world needs your strength. But first, you need your attention. You give more to others than you give to your own growth. When your days are spent meeting demands that do not belong to your vision, you are quick to answer every call, to carry the burdens of those around you, and to meet the needs of others, even when your own soul is quietly asking for your attention. At first, it feels noble, it feels kind, but over time, the imbalance begins to show. You start to feel stretched, drained, even invisible in your own life. You've become so accustomed to being dependable that you've forgotten what it means to be intentional. The world has taught you that selflessness is strength, but it rarely reminds you that strength must be replenished. What value is there in giving endlessly if you, the giver, are left empty? Growth requires investment, not only in time, but in energy, discipline, and reflection. You cannot evolve if every moment is spent outside yourself. You cannot hear your inner calling if your life is a constant response to the noise around you. To focus on your growth is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of responsibility. Because when you grow, you bring more value to every space you enter. When you learn, you elevate others. And when you care for yourself with purpose, you lead by example. There is great dignity in serving others, but there is equal dignity in choosing to serve your own future. Your growth is not a luxury, it is your foundation. And when you finally give yourself the time, patience, and commitment you've long offered to others, you will rise, not only renewed, but ready to rise others with you. Your goals keep being delayed while you prioritize distractions or other people's demands, because the world will always offer reasons to turn away from yourself. There will always be another task that feels urgent, another voice asking for your time, another fire that demands your attention. And slowly, without realizing it, your own dreams begin to gather dust. The plans you once held close become distant ideas. You start telling yourself, "I'll get to it when things settle down," not realizing that life rarely slows on its own. In serving the chaos of everyone else's life, you begin to lose grip on the direction of your own. The truth is, distraction often wears the mask of responsibility. And unless you become intentional, your purpose is buried under the weight of what is immediate but not important. That goals are not passive things. They require deliberate effort, focused time, and protected energy. They are the seeds of your future, and if not watered daily, they do not grow. To keep pushing your dreams aside in favor of noise and pressure is to postpone the life you are meant to live. The world will not grant you the space to pursue your vision. You must create it. That means learning to say no, even when it feels uncomfortable. That means guarding your time from meaningless habits and urgent distractions that do not serve your long-term path. Because one day you will wake up and realize that the time you kept giving away never came back. And what you sacrificed was not just progress, but parts of yourself. So reclaim your time, honor your calling, and remember, you were not put here to live in constant response, but to live with clear direction and unshakable purpose. You feel emotionally drained, yet guilty when you rest or say no, because somewhere along the way you were taught that your worth is tied to how much you give, how available you are, and how tirelessly you serve others. You've carried the silent belief that rest must be earned, that boundaries are selfish, and that saying no makes you less kind or less committed. And so you continue to show up, even when your energy is gone, even when your heart is heavy. You give from a place that is already empty, hoping it will be enough to feel whole, to feel appreciated, to feel needed. But what it leaves behind is fatigue, resentment, and a quiet ache for your own restoration. You lie awake at night, exhausted by the demands of the day, yet wrestling with guilt for the small moments you gave to yourself. The truth is not that you are weak. It is that you have not been taught how to protect your strength. Rest is not laziness. Boundaries are not rejection. Saying no is not a betrayal of others. It is an act of loyalty to yourself. When you are constantly drained, your spirit suffers. And when guilt follows your moments of self-care, you begin to deny yourself the very things that allow you to show up fully. A tired mind cannot think clearly. A burdened heart cannot lead wisely. And a depleted soul cannot carry the vision of its own future. You must learn to rest without shame. You must learn to say no without apology, because you are not here only to fulfill the needs of others. You are here to live fully, to grow boldly, and to serve with a heart that is nourished and whole. Let go of the guilt that steals your healing and allow space in your life to recover, reflect, and realign. You are not selfish for needing rest. You are human, and honoring that humanity is the first step to reclaiming your power. You've forgotten what lights your spirit because your focus has been scattered across too many things that do not truly belong to you. Day by day, your attention is pulled in 1,000 directions by noise, by duty, by the endless demands of others. You wake up not with clarity, but with clutter. Your time is divided, your thoughts are fractured, and your energy is constantly being spent on everything except what makes you feel alive. Slowly, without realizing it, the passions that once filled you with purpose begin to fade into the background. The dreams that once sparked joy now feel distant, buried under obligation and routine. This is the cost of a distracted life. Not just missed opportunities, but a lost connection with the essence of who you are. When your focus is scattered, your spirit becomes dim. And when you forget what ignites that inner fire, you begin to move through life not with intention, but with mere movement. But the light has not disappeared. It is only waiting for you to return to it. To slow down long enough to listen to what still calls you. To remove the noise long enough to remember what once gave you peace. What once stirred your curiosity. What once made time disappear in joy. Reconnecting with your spirit is not something that happens by accident. It requires effort, honesty, and the courage to say no to distractions that steal your life inch by inch. You must reclaim your focus like you are reclaiming your freedom, because when your attention aligns with your truth, you will no longer need to search for purpose. You will become it. In a world that profits from your disconnection, focusing on what lights you up is not indulgence. It is resistance. It is clarity. And it is your way back to wholeness.